Welcome to GMA Coaching. This is Ministry Planning. My name is Eric Daniel. I'm the president of GMA Coaching, and we exist to help you go further faster as a pastor, missionary, or ministry leader. And one of the ways we can help you is to assist you in ministry planning. I've discovered over the years that many people live just month to month or season to season, often controlled or dominated by their calendar. And the reality is, if you don't lead your calendar will lead you. And so this ministry planning tutorial video is meant to help you take control of, your year. God has something that He wants to do in your ministry, in your mission, at your church. And I believe He's going to give you vision for it and lay it out for you with strategies and goals. And of course, then bring the resources together to accomplish it in the coming year. If you look at Nehemiah chapter 1 and chapter 2, it's just a great example of ministry planning. Nehemiah arrives in Jerusalem and he goes around the city really making an assessment. And this is the big first step in ministry planning. You have to ask God. You have to make an assessment of what's happening. He walks around the city. I would encourage you to walk around your city. He walks around his facility. I would encourage you to walk around whatever facility God has given you. He listens to the people. I would encourage you to listen to your people. He also gets alone. I would encourage you to get alone. Nehemiah does a great job assessing what's broken, what's wrong, what's the problem or problems. I'm sure in your ministry there's lots of problems. I'm sure in your ministry there's lots of things that need to be fixed. And that was true in Nehemiah's day. Jerusalem was in shambles. So many things were broken. So many things were wrong. And so he just takes time to assess that. The second thing we see Nehemiah do is that he identifies what's next, which is the strategy portion, right? God's going to give you a vision for your ministry. God's going to give you a picture of the future. But then, out of all those things that need to be done, out of that incredible picture God gives you, for Nehemiah, it was, rebuilding the city. What an amazing picture to see a rebuilt, thriving Jerusalem. But what's next? What's the first step? God says, the wall. And Nehemiah shows up, gathers the people together and says, hey, the first thing we're going to do is rebuild the wall. Now that wall had been broken down for decades, but yet Nehemiah, what did he do? He stack ranked the things that needed to be done. There was a host of things that needed to be addressed. But Nehemiah, through ministry planning, takes time to assess, and then he decides, what's next? What's my first step in this strategy to accomplish the vision? And then the third thing we see in Nehemiah in chapter 2 is this beautiful picture of the people rallying together, which is what we need as pastors and ministry leaders. We can't accomplish the vision alone. If you take time to plan, you empower people to join you in the work. What does Nehemiah say? He says, now is the time to rebuild the wall because the king has given us resource. We have the money to do it. And so the people rise up to build. And that's what they're going to do in your ministry. I would encourage you to get away with some time with just you and Jesus. Let the Holy Spirit talk to you. Again, listen to your people, assess the facilities God's given you, but come away with a plan that you can then share with your people. In this tutorial and in the worksheets I've provided for you, there's 4 steps in ministry planning. The first is vision, and I've laid out some vision questions. 1 year, 3 year, what's God speaking to you? What's the picture of the future? You need to set some goals in that vision. What are the components? What are the wins in that vision? The second step is strategy. How are you going to do it? For Nehemiah, it was, I'm going to build the wall first. But then after building the wall, he dealt with the Sabbath. And after dealing with the Sabbath, he dealt with loaning money to family members and charging interest. And you see Nehemiah with a strategy to rebuild Jerusalem. So you want a vision, you want a strategy, and then again, you want to take control of your calendar. Don't let your calendar take control of you. So that's the third step in ministry planning. Look at your whole calendar for 12 months. Don't overplan. All of us have a tendency to overplan or underplan. You're 6 months out and you're like, yeah, we can do that. Or you're stressed out, and so you decide not to plan some ministry events. Don't let your calendar control you. You look at the calendar with God's heart of vision for your congregation, and you plan the events of the coming year. Maybe you do this with a ministry team. Maybe you do it by yourself. Every situation's different. And then after you get a good vision, solid strategy, and a solid calendar, then you create a budget. And let me tell you this, the money always follows a solid, well thought out vision. You're not going to have a problem finding the money to do ministry if you have a vision from God and a strategy to accomplish that vision. I look forward to walking through these steps with you. This tutorial was meant to get you headed in the right direction. After you end this video, I want you to take a half a day to a day, at least 8 to 12 hours, to just sit and answer those vision questions. What's God saying to you? What's God saying about your church or about your missions project? Write that stuff out. Let the Holy Spirit speak to you about some goals to achieve in the coming year, and we can talk from there. God bless you. May the Holy Spirit speak so clearly during this ministry planning season. And again, GMA Coaching exists to help you. Check out our website. We've got other tutorials, other resources there for you. God bless you. Thank you so much.